And welcome aboard, everybody. So happy to host this worldwide free webinar. We do a free webinar once a quarter, more or less. Tonight's very important subject, we're going to talk about the undiscussed epidemic of prescription pain medication addiction and deaths therefrom. In the greater context, of course, of the juxtaposition here in the not-so-free world of the 21st century, the not-so-free medical marketplace of the 21st century and historically the 20th century, we're going to be talking about how this situation came to pass from the proper perspective, which is everything in this regard. For those of you who are new to this format, thanks so much for your trust and your time. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. I'm a naturopathic physician. I have over a quarter of a century of experience in the delivery of primary care naturopathic medicine. I'm a graduate of Bastyr University of Naturopathic Medicine. I graduated in 1991, and I've been in private practice ever since. Naturopathic physicians are the standard bearers for the application of science-based, clinically verified medical therapeutics. And the therapeutics that naturopathic doctors deliver are intended to cure the illness. We're going to be talking a lot about this tonight by way of putting things in perspective for you by way of education so that you can understand what's going on here. Education is important. Knowledge is important. My people are destroyed by lack of knowledge. So rather than just tell you what to do, I'm going to tell you why it's like it is and hopefully build a strong understanding foundation, a strong foundation of understanding that you can actually grok the situation here and be empowered to make the appropriate changes in your life. Thanks so much for tuning in and turning on. We have quite a crowd here tonight. This is, in fact, a worldwide webinar. Thanks so much for your attendance and your time. I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. Let's kick it off. Opioid addiction and pain relief. Holistic pain relief is the subject before the board tonight. This is a big, bad voodoo daddy, and it is happening worldwide. The sources for the information that I deliver tonight are the American Society of Addiction Medicine, their website, ASAM.com, the National Institute on Drug Abuse, drugabuse.gov, and interestingly enough, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Like the fellow said, you are welcome to your own opinion, but you most certainly are not welcome to your own facts. And the facts regarding opioid addiction and deaths from prescription pain medication use are startling. If you have a seatbelt, I would attach it right now. Notwithstanding that, put something heavy on top of your head because your head is about to explode. Let's take a look at it by the numbers. 30 million people worldwide, 30 million people worldwide are addicted to opioid pain meds. 30 million people in the United States, 2.1 million people addicted to opioid pain meds. And we juxtapose this to heroin in the United States. 467,000 people are addicted to heroin in the United States. 2.1 million people are addicted to opioid pain meds, prescription pain meds. You can do the math. Addiction to MD prescribed opioid pain medications exceeds addiction to heroin by 4.5 times. 4.5 times. 4.5 times. Opioid prescriptions are skyrocketing. You would think that in light of this startling information, in light of this revelatory data, opioid prescriptions would be going down. Well, guess again. In 1991, 76 million, this is in the United States, 76 million prescriptions were written. In 2013, 207 million prescriptions were written for opioid pain meds. The United States, interestingly enough, corners the market on Vicodin sales, 100% of the Vicodin currently distributed in the world, well, as of 2013, was sold in the good old US of A. The US of A also, 81% of the oxycodone market. So there are many different types of painkillers, many different types of opioid painkillers. 30 million people worldwide addicted to this stuff. Vicodin and oxycodone specifically are out of control in the United States of America. Now remember, by way of perspective, right, we need to have a clue about what's going on here, and the only way that we're going to do that is to take a breath, take a step back, and check things out. Where did I hear the motto, first, do no harm? Isn't that supposed to be the modus operandi of the allopathically trained medical doctor? Isn't that part of the Hippocratic Oath? Well, it used to be part of the Hippocratic Oath, but medical doctors are no longer required to swear to the Hippocratic Oath, so that if you think that your medical doctor has your best interests at heart, you are mistaken. Your medical doctor may be the nicest person that God ever created, but your medical doctor has aligned him or herself with a treatment strategy, with a profession, which does not care if they harm you. Again, you're welcome to your own opinions, but not your own set of facts. In 2014, in the United States, deaths from opioids, 18,893. Deaths from heroin, 10,574. Nearly twice as many people dead from opioid pain meds as from heroin. And where's the hue and cry? Where's the outrage? Where are the TV shows and the documentaries outlining this? I'll tell you where they are. They are nowhere to be found, because the pharmaceutical industry is making gigantic amounts of money. And by gigantic, I mean gigantic times 1,000. $8 billion with a B, $400 million in sales in 2017 are projected by the Wall Street Journal for MD prescribed opioid pain meds. This is not black market drugs. This is the sale of this stuff by your friendly neighborhood MD. When you add the illegal, illicit sale of this stuff, the numbers are even higher. It is a gigantic industry, and if you think that they are going to change their tune, you are mistaken, which is why this webinar is doubly, triply, quadruply, sextuply, quintessentially important here, because conventional medical doctors are not going to change their tune. You need to educate yourself about what you can do to get on the other side of pain, because your medical doctor has not only let you down, but they have made you addicted, and they are killing you in droves. Now remember, right, we need the proper perspective. Otherwise, we just can't handle this. It's too much cognitive dissonance here. I can't handle this. How is this possible? Are you trying to tell me, Dr. Glidden, that my medical doctor is a sadistic human being? No, I'm not trying to tell you that. However, those numbers don't lie. There must be a reason why this situation is happening. Here it is. According to Voltaire, and I agree, MDs are men who prescribe medicines of which they know little to cure diseases of which they know less, and human beings of whom they know nothing. According to Benjamin Rush, one of the signers of the Declaration of Independence, one of the men who put his good fortune, his honor, and his life on the line so that the United States could be born, had this to say about medicine. Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will form a dictatorship to restrict the art of healing to one class of men and deny equal privileges to others, will constitute the Bastille of medical science. All such laws are un-American and despotic. Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize itself into a dictatorship to restrict the art of healing to one class of men and or women and deny equal privileges to others, will constitute the Bastille of medical science. All such laws are un-American and despotic. Well, guess what? Benjamin Rush is undoubtedly spinning in his grave, because that is exactly what has happened over the last 100 years. If this circle roughly approximates the practice of medicine in the world, it can be broken down into a number of different pieces of the pie, right? We have the naturopathic piece, the type of medicine that myself and my colleagues are trained in. Of course, we have the MD piece. MD medicine, by the way, is referred to as allopathic medicine. Medical doctors don't practice medicine. Nobody does. Medical doctors practice allopathic medicine. There are many other pieces of the pie, right? There's the chiropractic piece, traditional Chinese medical piece, the Ayurvedic piece, acupuncture piece, herbalism, many different pieces of the pie of medical science. Interestingly enough, from a broader perspective, you can categorize all of the different types of medical thought in the world today into two basic camps: holism and reductionism. The only people which practice reductionistic medicine are the MDs. Every other medical profession on planet Earth espouses holistic medicine, a holistic medical philosophy, and it is vitally important that you understand these two distinctions moving forward. Understanding these distinctions holds the key for you to understand why things are the way that they are, and more importantly, whom you need to go to get on the other side of it. Reductionism, which is practiced by the MDs, argues that if you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. Since nobody's ever dissected the soul out of the human body or seen it with an MRI or a CT scan, it doesn't exist. The body is a biochemical bag of parts waiting to break. When the body does break, the body does not have the ability to fix itself. There's no inborn intelligence of the human body. It's just all a biochemical fiat. The body does not have any ability to heal. If it had an ability to heal, it never would have gotten sick in the first place. And the medical doctor is not interested in curing disease. The medical doctor is interested in managing your symptoms with man-made prescription drugs. For goodness sakes. Of all of the prescription drugs available currently in the marketplace, the only ones that can cure anything are antibiotics. And they're not doing such a good job of that now. Every other drug on the market is intended to manage symptoms. For goodness sakes, your medical doctor does not even know how to cure heartburn. How effective do you think they're going to be at curing cancer or anything else for that matter? They're not going to be, and that's why we're in the pickle that we're in. Holistic physicians worldwide argue that the body is a complex system of interrelated parts, and that you had best attend and support the entire system when you are attempting to bring somebody into a state of health. The body is inhabited by a spiritual force. Whatever it is that brings light to the eyes, whatever it is which existed before birth and persists after death, is running the show. This is what holistic physicians argue. The body has intelligence. Your body grew itself all by itself, from a eeny-weeny tiny single cell into the magnificent manifestation of you, and it did that outside of your conscious control. The body is inhabited by a spiritual presence, a spiritual force which brings intelligence to bear on the workings of the human body. And most importantly, the human body knows how to fix itself, the human body wants to fix itself, and the human body is attempting all of the time to fix itself. This is the fundamental difference between the holistic approach and the MD approach. And you must understand this, or you will not be empowered moving forward here. It's worthwhile spending a few more seconds here. Reductionism, which is the scientific philosophy that MD-directed allopathic medicine is built upon, was started by Sir Isaac Newton. You know the guy, the apple fell on his head, right? According to reductionism, if it can't be measured, it doesn't exist, and everything is quantifiable. So again, since nobody has dissected the soul out of the human body, since nobody has seen it with an MRI, a CT, or a CAT scan, it doesn't exist. God does not exist. Spiritual force does not exist. Consciousness itself, to the MD, consciousness itself, to the reductionistically trained scientist, is a function of biochemistry. Biochemistry creates consciousness. So when the body dies, so does consciousness. This is what the psychiatrist is trained to believe, and this is what your medical doctor is trained to believe. There's no such thing as a vital force in the human body. There's no such thing as a spiritual presence. It's all hokum. Which leads to one of life's greatest ironies. Your medical doctor may be a very religious person in their private life. They may be a very spiritual person in their private life. But in their work, they're atheists. Period. Reductionism does not make room for the existence of God, a vital force, or any type of spiritual presence inside of the human body, which holistic physicians argue is in fact real and running the show. With reductionistic science, it's all about objectifying the data. If you can't objectify it, then it is worthless. Now, reductionism also argues that the human body is a machine made of parts, and when you're sick, each piece of the body gets its own medicine. So you get one medicine for the pain. It's not intended to cure the pain. You get one medicine for your blood pressure, one medicine for your heartburn, one medicine for your anxiety, one medicine for your insomnia, one medicine for the blood sugar, and 3 medicines for the side effects of all those medicines. Meanwhile, nothing gets cured. Now, it sounds crazy when you think about it like this, when you put it into this perspective, but that is exactly what happens. And don't get me wrong, naturopathic physicians are not against prescription medication. Thank God for Novocaine, right? It's not the drug, it's how it's used. The way that the medical doctor uses the drug is not to invoke a cure, not to attempt to cure, but simply to manage things. It's kind of like painting over the mold in the basement. You have a leak in the basement, water's coming in, now, the wallboard gets soaked, the carpet gets soaked, and now you have mold. Well, you can, vacuum the carpet, clean the carpet, paint over the wallboard with fresh paint. You won't see or smell the mold anymore, but it's still there and it's going to get worse. This is why MD-directed allopathic reductionistic medicine is best suited for trauma. That's the wheelhouse of the MD. That's the wheelhouse of reductionism. Right? I have a bullet in my arm, heaven forbid. That's as reductionistic as it gets. And when I'm elected Surgeon General of the United States, it will be illegal for medical doctors to practice general family practice medicine. It will be illegal. We don't let chiropractors do open heart surgery, do we? Well, neither should we let the MDs do anything but trauma and surgery. But because we don't have a free medical market, and we haven't had a free medical market for over 100 years, the MDs do whatever they want to do. And this is a problem. Again, remember, according to reductionistic medical philosophy, a cure is not possible. A cure is not the goal. Symptom management is everything to the MD. Now, again, medical doctors are not bad and evil, sadistic people. They're just completely enrolled in their own methodology, right? It's very much like a religion. You're never going to be able to convince a born-again Christian that there's such a thing as reincarnation, and you are never going to be able to convince a Buddhist that life is a one-shot deal, and unless you accept Christ as your Savior, you're going to hell. That's not going to happen, because people become entrenched in their own particular points of view. And let me tell you something, when you've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on education and thousands of hours of study and application, you are not going to give that up easily. Allopathic medical doctors are not trained in medicine. They're trained in allopathic medicine, which is based on a reductionistic philosophy. Allopathic reductionism. It's the tip of medical treatment in the world. There's a whole lot more that most people in the world don't have any experience with, because not only is allopathic reductionism the only medicine that's practiced in your hospital, the only medicine that your insurance pays for, the only medicine they make TV shows about, but the medical organizations, the American Medical Association, the Food and Drug Administration, the Federal Trade Commission in the United States, Health Canada, I don't know what it is in Europe, they have gone out of their way for the last 100 years to tell you that me and my colleagues, that I and my colleagues are quacks. Don't go to those chiropractors, they're quacks. Don't go to those naturopaths. Oh, homeopathy, you've got to be kidding me. It's quack medicine. Well, guess what? The exact opposite is true. In point of fact, who is it that's prescribing medication that's making people addicted and that's killing them? Is it the naturopathic doctors? No. Is it the chiropractors? No. Ayurvedic practitioners? No. It's the medical doctors. And this is how deep the socialization has gone, because even though the medical doctors fail us, even though the medical doctors make us addicted, harm us, kill us, we give them a pass. Can you imagine what would happen if one chiropractor gave one treatment to one patient and they died from it? Public outrage, pilloried in the town square. Oh my God. We have to condemn the entire profession, but when the medical doctors do it en masse, nobody blinks an eyelash. Of course, the reason for this, inquiring minds, right? It all boils down to really some pretty simple things. Follow the money. Deaths from opioids, 19,000. $8 billion in profits. You think there's a connection there? This is why they're not going to stop doing what they're doing. Again, imagine what would happen if first grade teachers killed 18,000 people a year. Imagine what would happen if postal workers killed 18,000 people a year. Imagine what would happen if chiropractors or taxi cab drivers killed 18,000 people a year. There'd be congressional investigations. It would be a big deal. But we have become so socialized to think that the medical doctors, you know what, doesn't stink, and that they are the exclusive owners of the domain of medicine, and that everybody else is a quack, even when they harm us, even when they kill us, even when they make us addicts. Nothing happens. Now, let's just put a stamp on this and move on. Think about it. I mean, let's take a breath and climb a tree and look around. While the MDs have controlled the medical marketplace, cancer remains uncured. Heart disease remains uncured. Obesity is skyrocketing. In the United States, 1/3 of the adult population, 1/3 of our kids are obese. Not just a little bit overweight, they're obese. Autism. Predicted in 9 years, by 2025, to be 1 out of 2 children born in the U.S. autistic. Arthritis, fibromyalgia, increasing, not decreasing. Type 2 diabetes, an out-of-control juggernaut. All on the watch of the MDs. This is an unacceptable situation, ladies and gentlemen. The only reason this has persisted is because there isn't a free medical market. You don't have a choice. You have to pay into medical insurance in the United States now. They take it right out of your paycheck in Canada and in the European Union. You don't have a choice. So all of this money is being siphoned out of your bank account every month, going to medical insurance. When you get sick, what are you going to do? Look for an extra $200, $300, $400 to pay a homeopath, pay a naturopath? No. You're going to go to the type of doctor that your insurance pays for. Because we don't have a free medical market, stuff like this persists. Because we don't have a free medical market, you are in pain, and now you're addicted, and you don't know what to do. Well, I'll tell you what you should do. Sue your medical doctor. Write a nasty letter to the Board of Medicine in your state and get everybody on Facebook, get everybody that follows you, get everybody in your family to write a similar letter and inundate the powers that be. Perhaps if enough people make a hue and cry, this situation will change. I went to 4 years of pre-med at the University of Massachusetts, a fully accredited undergraduate university in the United States. I completed 4 years at the Bastyr University of Naturopathic Medicine, a fully accredited medical school in the United States. I passed national boards, I passed state boards, and I have a license to practice naturopathic medicine, and I have since 1992. But I can only practice medicine in 18 states. There are 50 states in the United States, aren't there? Plus the U.S. Virgin Islands. I'm only allowed to practice in 18 states. Now, why is that? Because the pharmaceutical companies know, the medical doctors know, that if we did have a free medical market, they'd be out of a job because people gravitate to the therapeutics that work. As bad as you think it is, ladies and gentlemen, it is 1,000 times worse. Let's not forget, in the United States, the leading cause of bankruptcy, MD-directed medical therapeutics. Why is that? Because the medical doctors don't attempt to cure anything. That's not really hard to figure out. What's the most expensive medicine? The one that doesn't work. And the leading cause of death in the United States, to the tune of 760,000 people a year approximately, is MD-directed medical treatments. In the United States, MDs practicing allopathic, reductionistic, pharmaceutical centrist medicine are the leading cause of bankruptcy and the leading cause of death. And while they've been running the show, chronic disease is getting worse. thousands of people, tens of thousands of people are dying from pain medications. And more people are addicted to MD prescribed pain meds than are addicted to heroin. And I'm the quack. So, a rational person, understanding all of this from the proper perspective, should be drawn to the inevitable ultimate conclusion that when they're up against a chronic health condition, the only thing to do, the best thing to do, is to fire their medical doctor. Now. And adopt a different medical approach. The problem is that you don't really know that there are, in fact, science-based, clinically verified, licensed, and regulated alternatives to the Machiavellian monopolistic madness brought to the medical marketplace by the MDs. Most people are unaware of this. The better approach here when we're dealing with pain, when we're dealing with any chronic disease, is the naturopathic approach, which is patently holistic. Right? You need the right dog for the hunt. You take a Chihuahua duck hunting, you're going to come back empty-handed, guaranteed. You need the right dog for the hunt. You're dealing with pain, you need a holistic approach. You need the naturopathic approach. You're dealing with a chronic disease, you need the holistic approach. You need the naturopathic approach. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. In the wonderful world of naturopathic medicine, which I have been a practitioner of for over a quarter of a century now, there are a number of luminaries in the field of naturopathic medicine. Dr. Joel Wallach, whose picture is here, the founder of the Longevity Company out of Chula Vista, San Diego, is the most researched, the most published, and the most experienced naturopathic physician on planet Earth as of March 2016. Nobody even comes close in naturopathic circles to Dr. Wallach's resume. I could give a 2-hour lecture about Dr. Wallach's career. It is that extraordinary. And I am a gigantic cheerleader for Dr. Wallach and his company, Longevity. And by the way, full disclosure, I am not an employee of Longevity. I own no stock in Longevity. I am not a Longevity distributor. I don't make any money from the sale of Longevity's nutritional supplements. I would love to, but I don't. I'm such a cheerleader for Longevity because in over a quarter of a century of clinical work, Dr. Wallach's therapeutics, Dr. Wallach's methodology, Dr. Wallach's understanding of the pathophysiology of disease are unmatched by anyone. And when I follow Dr. Wallach's lead, when I use Dr. Wallach's therapeutics, the things that I see people recover from, I didn't think that was possible. Dr. Wallach's nutritional supplements sold by the Longevity Company are the most effective nutritional supplements available over the counter that I've seen in 25 plus years of clinical work, period. And this is where the rubber hits the road, ladies and gentlemen. Results. Every industry has superstars, right? Michael Jordan, Da Vinci, Einstein, etc., etc., etc. Name your own star. In the wonderful world of naturopathic medicine, licensed and regulated naturopathic medicine, Dr. Wallach is light years ahead of his contemporaries, including myself. This is the main reason why Dr. Wallach was in charge of $25 million of research from 1971 to 82, more or less. 71 to 83, 25 million bucks, 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies, the result of which, this book, is in the Smithsonian Institution in the United States as a national treasure. This book rewrote our understanding of the relationship between nutrition and disease. The take-home message of Dr. Wallach's research is that there are 90 essential nutrients that the human body needs. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 essential fatty acids for a grand total of 90. A nutrient is deemed essential if the body needs it but cannot make it. 90 nutrients that need to go down the hatch every day in order for your body to work the way that nature intended it to. 90. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 essential fatty acids. The Longevity Company has coined this term 90 for life in order to reflect this paradigm. 90 essential nutrients necessary for optimal health, and which is why I think that J.J. Abrams, in one of the last installments of the Star Wars epic, should have included this. Luke, I find your lack of minerals disturbing. I find your lack of minerals disheartening, quite frankly, ladies and gentlemen, because you do not know what you're missing. When your body is nutritionally deficient, it is virtually impossible for it to function the way that nature and God intended it. And Dr. Wallach isn't the only one talking about this. The late, great Linus Pauling, 2-time Nobel Prize winner, said, I quote, "You can trace every sickness, every disease, and every ailment to a mineral deficiency. You don't have chronic pain because you have a physical body. You have chronic pain because your body has run out of the nutrients necessary to keep that part of your body in a state of health. Period." For goodness sakes, when was the last time you saw a chicken on crutches? When was the last time you saw them regularly giving cattle appendectomies and gallbladder transplants and heart transplants? When was the last time you saw that? When was the last time you saw pigs getting open heart surgery? You ever see that? No. You know why you don't see that? Because Dr. Wallach's research revolutionized the health of livestock, increased the health of the average household dog, the age expectancy, the life expectancy, by 2 times. This was a big, big deal. But it didn't populate over into human medicine, because human medicine is controlled by the pharmaceutical industry, by the MDs who practice reductionistic medicine. Your medical doctor has no training, no experience, no respect, and no appreciation for the foundations of health, which are medical nutrition. And this is why you're in pain. This is why everybody in your family is sick. Now, interestingly enough, it's impossible to get all 90 nutrients from food. You can't do it. There are a number of myths that we're suffering from here, right? Myth number 1, the MD only knows what they've been trained in. The medical doctor, the myth is that the medical doctor is the be-all, end-all of medicine, and they own the secret decoder ring to all things medical. That's a myth. Myth number 2, all you need to do to be healthy is eat from the 4 food groups. Or is it 5 food groups? Or is it 6 food groups? I don't know. Doesn't matter, because it's impossible to do it. It is impossible to secure all of the nutrients that your body needs in order to be healthy simply from eating food. You cannot do it. Remember the 90 essential nutrients, 60 of which were minerals? That's 2/3, 66%. It's a big deal. Things like calcium and zinc and selenium. Well, the only place that minerals come from is the soil. Your body cannot make a mineral. A plant's body cannot make a mineral. An animal's body cannot make a mineral. The only way that minerals make it into the food is if they're in the soil that the vegetables or the fruit are growing in, period. Here's a map of selenium in the topsoil in the United States. If it's red, there's a lot of selenium. If it's yellow, a little bit. If it's blue, not so much. If it's gray, really hardly any. And if it's white, nada. So, depending on where your Brussels sprouts and tomatoes and strawberries and raspberries and Brazil nuts come from, they're going to have varying amounts or zero selenium in them. Now, this is a map of one mineral. There are 59 other maps. There's no place on God's green earth that we've discovered so far where all 60 minerals are found in the topsoil. No place. Therefore, you are minerally deficient unless you are supplementing with minerals. You are minerally deficient. Remember what Linus Pauling said. You can trace every disease and every sickness to a mineral deficiency. For goodness sakes, this is perhaps the most important piece of information that I have to give you. If this exemplified your body's nutrient needs, if this tank represented your body's nutrient needs, in order for you to be optimally healthy, to be out of pain, to have everything work the way that nature and God intended it, it needs to be topped off every day with all 90 nutrients. But remember, they're not all in the food, so most people have less than half. Most people have less than half of the nutrients their bodies need on a daily basis, and then you experience the stress of life. The stress of life burns through your nutrients, and now you're running on fumes, and now things start to break. So you're nutritionally deficient. You start craving calories. You eat too many calories, not because you have a bad gene or a psychological problem, but because you're nutritionally deficient, and this makes you gain weight. Your body gets cancer because your immune system is too weak to fight off a fruit fly. Type 2 diabetes is directly related to deficiencies in two trace minerals, vanadium and chromium. Arthritis is related to mineral deficiencies, omega-3 essential fatty acid deficiencies, and vitamin deficiencies. Your joints have basically run out of the stuff that they need to stay healthy, period. If your automobile runs out of oil, what happens? The engine seizes. Was there anything wrong with the engine? No. Were the welds okay? Yes. Was the metal okay? Yes. Were the pistons okay? Yes. Were the spark plugs okay? Yes. Was the timing okay? Yes. Was the computer okay? Yes. You ran out of oil. The engine seized, period. Your body runs out of nutrients. Something breaks. Now you're in pain. What does the medical doctor do? Medicate the pain. Does not intend to cure it. Does the medication from the pain, from the opioid pain medication, do anything to reintroduce nutrients into your body? Does it do anything to attempt to cure the part? No. As a matter of fact, as your body metabolizes the drug, it uses up more nutrients. So after a while, the drug stops working as effectively as it did, and you need more of the drug, or another drug, or another drug, and then you die. Meanwhile, you go bankrupt. High blood pressure is directly related to not enough calcium and not enough magnesium. Genetic malformations like the infamous Angelina Jolie BRCA gene. The BRCA gene is not a gene, it's a mutation of a gene. What caused the gene to become mutated? Nutrient deficiencies. But no. Let's listen to Dr. Oz and his ilk. Let's let them tell us what to do. Let's let them tell us, oh, we need new research. This opioid pain addiction thing, it's an outrage. It's a runaway train, but they have no solutions. No solutions whatsoever, because inside of their paradigm, they know they cannot fix it. So they are going to string you along as much as they can, just like they've done with cancer. Oh, the cure for cancer is around the corner. Oh, we're going to come up with a new classification of pain meds. Oh, just you wait. We're going to do the research and we're going to figure it out. No, they're not. By the way, I was lucky enough to get an MRI of Dr. Oz's brain. There it is. All right, it's not Dr. Oz's brain, it's Homer Simpson's brain. Let's talk about obesity, because this is interesting. It relates to addiction. Why do people become overweight? Because they eat too many calories. That's the main driver of obesity. You eat too many calories. Why do you eat too many calories? Because your body's running on nutrient fumes. Your body has wisdom. Your body knows it's running on nutrient fumes. Your body attempts to fill its nutritional tank up, so it forces you to eat. You go to Olive Garden or Red Lobster, you eat 3,000 calories, you come home, 2 hours later, you're hungry again. That's why people gain weight, because they're nutritionally starved, but they do not know it. And the food that you eat doesn't have the nutrients that you need. And with modern agricultural methods, the overt use of pesticides and herbicides, there's less and less nutrients in the food. Interestingly enough, exactly the same thing happens in animals. You ask any farmer, there's a phenomenon referred to as cribbing. It happens in livestock. Horses, cows, sheep will start to eat wood. They'll eat the wood on the fence. They'll eat the wood on their stalls. They'll eat dirt. They'll eat anything they can get their mouths on. Why does this happen? Because the animals are minerally deficient. They are nutritionally deprived. They don't have a bad gene. The horse doesn't have issues with his father. I can guarantee you the horse does not have psychological issues with his father. The animal is trying to eat whatever it can because its body is driving it to. It's driving it to. When you are deficient in nutrients, you crave things. So if you've ever seen a pregnant woman, crave crazy things, pickles and dirt and all kinds of crazy stuff. Why is that? Because now there's even less nutrition in their body because the baby's robbing what little they have. And the prenatal vitamin ain't going to cut it. So the moral to this story is when your body is nutritionally deficient, you start to crave things. Now, sometimes you crave food. Sometimes you crave alcohol. Sometimes you crave cigarettes. Sometimes you crave street drugs. Sometimes you crave prescription drugs. But when you start to crave certain things like tobacco, which has nicotine in it, or heroin, or opioid painkillers like Vicodin or oxycodone, you become chemically addicted to that substance. Chemically addicted. And you still have the nutrient deficiencies which make you crave things in the first place. So now it's a double whammy. You're addicted to the stuff and the cravings are still there. And the more of the drug you take, the worse the cravings get because the less nutrients you have. And round we go until you die. For goodness sakes. This is the root cause of addictive behavior. Now, I'm not saying in some people there aren't psychological causes. There are. But I am saying that you must fulfill your body's nutrient needs if you are attempting to dig yourself out of any addictive process. It's mandatory, not optional, and your medical doctor is clueless about it. Your medical doctor put you into this situation in the first place. For goodness sakes, enough is enough. Fire your medical doctor now. Write a letter of complaint to the Board of Medicine. Get everybody in your life to do the same. And let's see if we can make a difference here. So what are we going to do? How are we going to get on the other side of this? Now listen, there's only so much I can do from a distance, but I can put you into the game. I can put you into the game of healing. I can open the door and introduce you into the undiscovered country of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. The therapeutics that I'm about to outline are a very good place to start. Sometimes you'll need to do more. We have to start somewhere. So here's what we do. Kind of a no-brainer, right? From the proper perspective, everything makes sense. Give the body all the nutrients it needs to fix itself. First, you have to nutrify. All 90 essential nutrients, the easiest way to get all 90 essential nutrients, in this doctor's opinion, after a quarter of a century of clinical work, is with the Healthy Start Pack by Longevity. And I'm going to list all this stuff at the end of the webinar so you don't have to be scrambling for a pen right now. Nutrify the body with all 90 essential nutrients. Number 1. Number 2, increase your intake of anti-inflammatory nutrients and herbs. Pain is present because of inflammation. Inflammation is present because of nutrient deficiencies. When we fulfill the nutrient deficiencies, we must also do our best to dampen down the pain holistically in a non-addictive, non-harmful way. It's relatively easy to do. Cell Shield RTQ and the trace mineral selenium are two of my favorite ways to do that. Cell Shield RTQ has resveratrol, turmeric, and quercetin. Resveratrol, turmeric, and quercetin all have anti-inflammatory activity, especially turmeric. And increase your intake of minerals, most importantly, right? 66% of your body's need, 66%. Well, I thought I was going to get everything in the 90 essential nutrients in the Healthy Pack. Well, you are, but your body is nutritionally deficient. It's been nutritionally deficient forever. So when we are engaged therapeutically here, we do more than we need to for maintenance. It's that simple and that straightforward. Now, if your pain is involving a joint or a bone, you can also get this product. It's called CM cream. It's an analgesic cream. In independent studies done by, I think, the University of, I forget which university did the study, quite frankly. It had 100% effectiveness in damping down joint pain. Is 100% effectiveness pretty good? I think it's pretty good. So here's what you do. You get a bottle of Longevity CM cream, and to that you add 3 teaspoons of an herbal tincture made by a company called Good Herbs, which is a subsidiary of Longevity, and I am such a fan of the Good Herbs company. I've done an entire webinar that talks about why Good Herbs has the best over-the-counter herbs in the world right now, and they do. So if you're dealing with a bone and tissue issue, get the Good Herbs Bone and Tissue Support. Mix 3 teaspoons in with the Ultimate CM Cream. Add to that 10 drops of an essential oil of peppermint. Stir it all together and apply it topically where necessary. 1 dose of this stuff lasts approximately 3 to 4 hours. Now look, if you have some type of arthritic situation, some type of bone pain, joint pain, this is what you do. If there's nerve pain, try the nerve support. Mix the Good Herbs nerve support in with the CM cream and the peppermint oil and apply it topically. Keep your fingers crossed and see what happens. You can also use their antioxidant response because remember, as antioxidants knock down inflammation. So do a little in-house experimentation and see which works best for you. Use all 3 if you want to. There's no harm and no foul. It's better than prescription medications. But, you know, everybody's a little bit different. So you're going to have to do a little in-house experimenting to find out which is your best bet. Now, if the focus of your pain, the reason that you're taking pain meds is because of muscle and or joint pain, in addition to everything that I've recommended and the stuff that I'll recommend in a minute, find a chiropractor trained in applied kinesiology or total body modification. I have a testimonial, and honest to God, this just happened yesterday. 2 days ago, I woke up in the morning and I couldn't lift my arm more than 20 degrees. I had excruciating pain in the deltoid area. I thought I'd torn a ligament, and I have no idea why. I was in pain for an entire day. It wasn't getting any better. I tried to muscle my way through it. Nothing helped. I did the CM cream. I'm doing my nutritional supplements. You know, it's not working as quickly as I need it to. I visit a colleague of mine, Dr. Matthew Peel, If you live in Chicagoland, you need to go and see this guy. By the way, again, full disclosure, there is no kickback here. Zero kickback. I went to see Dr. Peel. He is trained in applied kinesiology and total body modification. He treated me for an hour. In addition to his treatment, we also figured out a homeopathic medicine to take. I came home last night after the treatment. I took the homeopathic medicine. I went to bed and I woke up this morning pain-free. I thought it was going to take at least 3 weeks to resolve the issue. Less than 24 hours after the treatment, 100% pain-free. If you are suffering with musculoskeletal pain, find a chiropractor that's trained either in applied kinesiology or total body modification, and add to that, on top of the medical nutrition. Homeopathic medicine is also a really, really, really good idea when you are attempting to withdraw from pain meds and or battle pain. Homeopathic medicine works like a charm in helping to eliminate pain. And when homeopathic treatments eliminate pain, they do it curatively, not by way of suppression. Homeopathic medicine is a challenging type of medicine, the same way that acupuncture is. My advice, go to this website, naturopathic.org. Search in your zip code for a naturopathic physician, licensed naturopathic physician. Call them up and ask them if they practice classical homeopathy. Try to find a classically trained, licensed, and regulated homeopathic physician in your neck of the woods. A good homeopath and a good chiropractor trained in applied kinesiology or total body modification are worth their weights in gold. If you cannot find a local homeopathic physician, you can call my office, schedule a visit with me. I treat people all around the world virtually through Skype. 5 days a week, you can schedule an appointment with my office for a homeopathic consultation if you cannot find someone local to you. Additionally, everybody and their mother must eliminate these foods. And on my website, there's a free video which explains why these foods are bad. There's a free video which explains why these foods are bad. One of the downsides of consumption of these foods is that they cause inflammation. Inflammation increases pain. It's not a good idea to be bailing the boat out on one side and drilling holes on the other. You're never going to reach the shore. So while we are attempting to assist the body's internal mechanisms to eliminate the pain, it would perhaps be prudent to stop eating food that's fanning those flames. Eliminate these foods. If you'd like information about why these foods are bad, please watch the free video on my website. So here's what we do. Here's my recommendations to get you into the game. Per 100 pounds per body weight per month, here's what I would recommend you supplement your diet with. 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0. 1 Ultimate Plant-Derived Minerals. 1 bottle of Ultimate Selenium. 1 bottle of Ultimate Cell Shield RTQ. 1 bottle of Beyond Osteo FX Liquid per 100 pounds of body weight per month. 1 bottle of De-Stress. And 1 bottle of Ultimate EFA Plus. This is a very, very, very smart, wise, and effective place to start your journey back from pain, and use the CM cream plus the appropriate good herbs product topically. Keep your fingers crossed. See if it doesn't work. It's 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0, 1 Plant-Derived Minerals, 1 Selenium, 1 Cell Shield RTQ, 1 Beyond Osteo FX Liquid, 1 bottle of De-Stress, and 1 Ultimate EFA per 100 pounds of body weight per month. By the way, this is a therapeutic treatment. Once you're out of the woods and it has worked and you're pain-free, the pain is reduced significantly, you can fall back to a maintenance dose which I have explained in other webinars. Now, if you are addicted to any pain medication, here's my recommendation. Do everything that I just told you. Eliminate the 12 bad foods. Start taking the nutritional supplements. Pursue everything that I spoke about for 3 months. 3 months. Don't do anything different with your meds. Don't increase them for 3 months. And then work with a pharmacist or a licensed naturopathic physician to get on a reduction schedule. Do not go to an MD because they're the people that put you in trouble in the first place. Fire your medical doctor. Do not go to the MD. The pharmacist knows more about this stuff than the MD does anyway. It's not that difficult to get off of pain meds. Generally speaking, the general gestalt here is you cut your pain meds in half every 4 weeks, more or less. Every 4 weeks, more or less. You need professional supervision here, but the general consensus is about every 4 weeks you cut it in half. Now, once you get on a reduction schedule, you have to stay on the reduction schedule. You can't be yo-yoing and vacillating. You have to stay on it and tough it out. Work with a homeopath. Work with a chiropractor. Do the medical nutrition. See how it goes. For goodness sakes. Your body's ability to fix itself is greater than anybody has led you to believe. No kidding. Your body's ability to fix itself is greater than anybody has led you to believe. Your body has wisdom. Your body wants to fix itself. Your body is trying to fix itself. So stop eating food that's gumming up the works. Give your body the nutrients it needs to get the job done. Give it a little extra support with chiropractic, homeopathic, herbal medicine. Keep your fingers crossed and see how you do. Follow me on Facebook, glidden.healthcare. If you liked this free webinar and would like to learn more, I have hundreds of hours of webinars on my website via a subscription service called the Dr. Glidden Advocate. $2 a day or $20 a month. Cancel at any time. Become a Dr. Glidden Advocate today. Educate yourself about the many different aspects of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. The learning curve is not that steep, but there are a few basics you need to understand, and you will engage with a community. We have an interactive forum as part of the Advocate membership. We do live events twice a month for Dr. Glidden Advocates and their guests exclusively. Join the club. Join the movement, ladies and gentlemen. As my relative by marriage, Benjamin Franklin, said, we must hang together, or most certainly we will hang alone. Thanks so much for your time and your trust. I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. Live long and prosper. I'll see you around campus.